We're live. Yo, Food Service Power Plant Network. It is not Monday night, it's Tuesday night. And what a way to start the week. We all had off yesterday. I hope it was a wonderful day for you. A wonderful break for many of us in the supply and equipment side. The last week or so, we've been off. Hopefully you've been with some family or friends or recovering or dreaming or whatever life abundant looks like for you. And welcome back. We're going to start the year 2023 on an incredibly high note. You know, we love to find industry leaders that are full of energy, full of excitement, full of vision and hope of what's coming in their future. And Mike is one of those people. Look at all of this. Alyssa's here. The anticipation is killing me. Love it. Leona, can't wait to hear Mike and all he has to say tonight. I love it. Calvin, me too. Hey, Calvin, welcome. Happy New Year. Rio's in the house. Happy New Year, Rio. Luke is in the house. Happy New Year, Luke. Listen, everybody, it's going to be a great night. Before we get going, a couple of ideas. First, we'd love your comments and questions for Mike, just like Rio. Throw them in. You can ask Mike anything you want to know. We're going to try to get to as many of them as we can. Happy New Year, Luke. Secondly, if you've got a pen and a paper, I would encourage you to write down some questions, write down ideas. Mike's got things that might be relevant in your story. He's going to talk about his life, his journey, his challenges, so much of what makes him tick. And that might be things that in this new year, you might need to apply in your life. So make a couple notes that you can start thinking about and chewing on tonight as you get ready for the new year. Also, a huge thanks. There are so many partners that make these conversations happen. We're all about positive mindset, sharing authentically our stories. Thanks to Maureen and Dave and Joe and the Zumba team, FENS Magazine. You guys have been just wonderful partners in making these positive conversations happen. Thank you to the Craven Company team, Chelsea and Eric and team. They are a white glove marketing service specific to the food service industry. They've built our website and do so many of the things that you see. You can go check out fspowerplant.com and see all that they do. If you want any questions about how they can help you, reach out to me, reach out to Chelsea. Can't wait. Kevin Coachman from KCL. Happy New Year, FSPN. Happy New Year, Kevin. It's good to see you. Giles in the house. Excited to hear. Guile, we're so glad you are here. Mike, predictions for 23, Rio wants to know. We'll get to those in a second. Devin, hello, everyone. So excited for the conversation. We can't wait. Let's go find the man, the myth. Yo, Mike.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, brother. How are you?
Man, Happy New Year. Thanks for having me. I'm humbled by the invitation and amazing when I reflect on the guests you've had on your show. I can't believe the company that I'm sharing in. So thank you very much.
Man, it's truly an honor. There is so much excitement. Samantha is hyped for Mike. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Don. Happy New Year, brother. So glad to see you. Mike, listen, for anyone who hasn't worked with you or gotten to interact in person over the years, you've been in food service for a long time. Can you share some of your career journey and how you got to be in the current role of CEO of Excell and Nissco buying groups?
Yeah, sure. So in 1992, I responded to an ad in the Sunday paper. So your younger viewers are going to think I'm lying, but I think you're old enough, Jason, to know that this is a true statement. There was a time when you applied for a job using a stack of linen printed resumes and linen envelopes and stamps that you had to lick. Yes, you licked stamps, people. If you are under 30, you have probably never licked a stamp. But I anxiously awaited for the Sunday paper. I had been working at McDonnell Douglas at the time, and Boeing purchased McDonnell Douglas, but I was working at McDonnell Douglas. It was a very high paying job. It was a union job, meaning that my employment there was essentially based on my number on the payroll versus my performance.
Okay.
Needless to say, I lost that job, and I vowed to never have another job in my life where my personal contribution, my personal performance would not be the leading indicator of whether I got to stay employed or not. And simply a number would determine whether I got to stay or go. But I licked a bunch of stamps, and I vividly remember answering the ad for Hobart because I didn't know what a Hobart was. But the real reason I remembered sending off that resume was I had one stamp left. I kid you not. And it's incredible because I thought to myself, I don't even know what a Hobart is. And I don't know if I'm qualified for this. I don't know what it is, but I've got one stamp left. So off I went. I sent it off because I knew I would have to go buy more stamps anyway. And I got a phone call and I got an interview. and I got a job, and I got a job making $12 an hour. And I was so excited to get it. It was entry level. I had a uniform, which was great because I didn't have to think about what to put on my body each morning. It was just a matter of putting it on. And the rest is history, man. So, from that point, I was at Hobart since September 1992. Within about 3 years, I had earned several promotions. And I was there 24 years to the day, ironically. I loved what I did for about 22 years. I just absolutely loved it. I was excited to get out of bed in the morning and loved it. And just something happened. I don't know if it was me or the company, it doesn't matter, but something happened, and life is a journey. And about 22 years into it, I said, I think I need to be doing something different. And so I started to look around, and as I was looking around, I ended up getting a phone call from a gentleman at Trimark from their ISI division. And he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I accepted a role there. I took the opportunity there as VP of Service Operations. That then led to, I was only there about 2.5 years because I got another phone call from a recruiter to join a company in upstate New York called Horizon Bradco as CEO. And it's really a humbling experience to be a CEO. And I will say that as I've grown in my roles, I know that I was often critical of leadership. I was often critical, supportive, of course, but critical in the sense that if I was doing it, I would do it differently. I would do this, I would do that. I can tell you that it's a lot easier to Monday morning quarterback than to actually play the game on the field in real time. And I have a whole lot of respect for people that I always had respect for anyway, but that I might have been critical of, because it is a lot easier to say many things than to do them. And when you are the ultimate party responsible for, X number of people's livelihood, it's an awesome responsibility, both awesome in a good way and awesome in a scary way, because people are looking at you to help make sure that you can keep them employed and keep them safe so that they can feed their family and that they get paid every week. So, man, I could go on forever, but I know we only have an hour, and I think I just burned up 8 minutes with that. So
it's awesome. I love hearing your story. I love the part about I knew early on I never wanted to have a job again where I wasn't going to be evaluated based on my performance and whether a company needed me. What is it so much that you recognize at that point that made you come alive, getting to exert who you were and bring your performance to the table?
Nothing necessarily clicked in me. I know a lot of people have aha moments, and they know exactly where this happened or when that happened and how it happened. I was just very, very fortunate to have parents who led by example. My mom worked very, very, very hard. I mean, literally 16, 18 hours a day, 5-6 days, oftentimes on Christmas Day. She was a self-employed manicurist, and she had her own clientele, and she worked very, very hard. And she taught me a work ethic. And I had a lot of responsibility around the house. And I've just always been a hard worker. I've always been the guy. When I was 15, I was a busboy. And I just always wanted to be the best I could. So when I was the busboy, I was the best busboy I could be. When I was a delivery driver, I was the best delivery driver I could be. When I got that entry-level job at Hobart doing parts, I committed to being the best parts guy I could be. And I think to the point, that's where these opportunities have always come to me. I've never gone well, let me say this differently. I've gone looking many a time for opportunities. But any of the opportunities that I've ever accepted and held that role, it was a role that had come to me. And I just know that was preordained and it was meant to be. I believe you are always where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
It is hard to lose if you're willing to give your all. You're inevitably adding value. If you're finding ways to outwork, out hustle, go the extra mile, there is always room for you. For anyone watching, anyone, of our younger friends, relatively new in the industry, maybe you're recently out of college and you're like, what does success look like? It looks like working your tail off oftentimes, always adding value, thinking outside the box, and there will always be a seat at the table for you. Jeremy, someone once told Mike he wasn't a real CEO. He proved them wrong over and over again. Oh, Jeremy, love it. What's this? My man Mike, Taz, is in the house. Speaking of quarterback, why do you have a Cowboys helmet when you're in Broncos country? Mike, what's the deal? You're a Denver guy now.
Well, I live in Denver now as of October 4th, but I have spent the previous 17 years in Dallas. Hardcore Cowboys fan, win or lose. I'm not fair weathered. I will say that I'm sad for the Broncos fans. I mean, I know, Jason, I know you're one of them. You had a little bit of silver lining and hope this past game. They started, they should have fired the coach weeks ago, because if that's all it took, they would have had a better season. But I love the Cowboys. I will always love the Cowboys. I'll tell you what the funny thing about the Cowboys is, and I think this is why I'm so passionate. I grew up hating football. I loved baseball. I grew up in Southern California, so I went to all the Angels games. And I actually worked at Anaheim Stadium throughout high school. I was one of these kids with the basket going up and down the aisles. It was a commission job. It was 20% commission. And I had the big, heavy basket full of hats, bats, and balls. And I worked all the baseball games and football games and concerts. And I was there during the real LA Rams era with Eric Dickerson. And it was exciting. I mean, they were playing championship games and everything. I didn't care. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And I didn't want to. Something happened when I moved to Dallas in 2005, and I noticed that the streets were empty on game day. And I remember this vividly. I remember turning on the TV one Sunday on a game day, and I thought, I got to figure out what all the hype is about. Like, why is everybody so ate up over the Cowboys and football, and what's so great about it? And I instantly fell in love with the game and latched onto that team. So it's a good thing somebody else wasn't playing, because that's probably who I would be a fanatic fan with. But so Cowboys.
I love it. I love those moments. Calvin, Mike is an awesome leader, someone you want to follow. Love it. Randy Brunschwig's in the house. Are you kidding me? Stoked we found you. Yo, Randy. Too good. Too good. Mike.
Big shoes right there. You know that, Jason.
I'll tell you what, I mean, Randy at the helm for, I don't know, what was it, 18 years, something like that. And Randy did an unbelievable job. He and his team building Excell and the Nissco, and fun shoes to walk in, great person to learn from, and a great team that he got to hand off to you, and you're continuing to get to cultivate. Mike, we oftentimes are, a portion of who we are is our habits. It's our disciplines. Is there any disciplines in your life that you've kind of, I don't know, sometimes we just kind of run with it, but anything in your world that you've always kind of stuck with?
I'm a machine in a lot of ways, and that's good and bad. So I am asleep every night, including Fridays and Saturdays, sadly, by about 9:30 p.m. And I'm up at 5:05. Why 5:05? I don't know, but many, many years ago, I decided to set the alarm for 5:05, and I still get up at 5:05. I'm very much a morning person. As I pleaded with you, Jason, I said, can we please have this at 6 a.m. instead of 6 p.m.? Because I am a much better morning person than a night person. I'm keeping it together tonight, but that's at the expense of a lot of coffee. But the fact is, I'm a morning person. So discipline, I'm very disciplined, and to the point, there are times where my body clock I fall asleep at 9:30 because my body clock. And there's times where I don't want to go to bed at 9:30. But I force myself, because I know that I need to be my best for the next day. And I know that without my beauty sleep, my beauty rest, it's not even beauty rest, because this is not happening. What it is my recharge, my refresh. And I need that, because I go hard. I have two speeds. My wife will tell you I have two speeds. I have 100 miles an hour and stop. I don't slow down. I go from 100 miles an hour to stop. And so I know that today I was going to hit it hard. Tomorrow I'm going to hit it hard. And so I'm going to be in bed by 9, and I'll be asleep by 9:30 tonight. Rest assured.
I love it. The amount of science on the power of sleep to help us go and be creative and lead and all of those things is so powerful. I love that you stick with it. You and I think are a lot alike, Mike. My wife would describe me as, Jason, you're always coming in hot. Like, there's always an idea. There's always energy. There's, hey, babe, I just had this. What are we going to do now? Or how do we do this? And so I'm learning to bring it down just a little bit when I walk into rooms or certain situations, to listen a little bit first. Look at this, Rick Palmer. Hey, Rick, out of Tennessee. Rick left his company after 22 years because he lost the passion. So I made changes, and now I'm happiest. Rick, way to go. And, that's obviously, it's not an unfamiliar story. There are different times I left teaching after 8 years. For some reason, it wasn't lighting me up any longer the way it needed to. We all make changes in our lives, and I think it really matters that we pay attention, that we're introspective and listening to what's going on inside of us. Because when we lose that fire, we become ineffective at serving our customers, serving our teams, etc. Mike, go in there. Let me ask you this. We all have to enjoy what we do in order for us to do it at a high level. What is it about your work that you love? Like, what's one thing you just love doing?
So it's interesting. This industry, I mean, let's face it, there is nothing sexy about what we do. I mean, fryers and mixers and slicers, and I mean, come on. But those of us who love it, love it. And I think it's, for me, I will say that what I love most about the industry is the relationships, the people I get to meet, the incredible people that I get to work with, the incredible people that I cross paths with. I mean, I think about you, Jason, and I think about people that are disruptors in a positive way, because there's obviously disruption negatively, but I think there's positive disruptors. And I think, when I think about that, there's three guys that come to mind: you, Rich Malachi, and Roger Smeltzer of Tech24, UST that he started. You three guys I really admire and I respect, and I look to you guys and I think, good for you for making it about the industry, trying to make this a better place, trying to lure people into the industry, younger people who really wouldn't otherwise, myself included, right? I was 23 when I came into the industry. No, is that right? Whatever it is. I was young and I didn't know what it was. But today there's so many different jobs with technology that blue collar, or as our friend Rick Malachi says, gold collar jobs are really a great way to make a great living. And you don't end up with a bunch of college debt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I love the people that I meet, the people I get to work with, the people that everybody's got a story and everybody's going through something. And I love solving problems. And I think really the people part of it more than anything. And the relationships are lasting. I mean, there's people that I have known for the full 30 years that I've been in this industry that I still talk to today. Maybe not regular, but that I know and that I can call on, and they know they can call on me. And this, kind of that forged in fire thing that this industry represents. In contrast, slightly off topic, but to the point of this industry, it's not for everyone. And I would say the biggest delineation in whether this industry is for you or not is, do you want to stamp out widgets and go home, come to work and just boom, 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 go home, go to bed, do it all, boom, 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 the next day, and do that 5 days in a row? If you do, this is not the industry for you, because after 30 years of doing this, and I know people that have been doing it 40 and 50 years, they'll tell you the same thing I'm about to tell you, which is you never stop learning. There is a constant evolution in our industry, and even in recent years, I would say a revolution. Look at what's happening with all the M&A activity. M&A used to be a fryer company buying a fryer company, and now we're starting to see companies of different likeness that are buying one another, that are acquiring one another, that are joining forces, and it's a really interesting time. It's an exciting time. I would say it's an uncertain time, not in a bad way. I think there's still plenty of exciting things for our industry, but it's a bit unique in the sense that those of us who have done this a long time kind of thought, well, next year this, next year that, and really the battleship, the small moves that result in a big thing. And I think people are taking, they're cranking on the wheel. We're getting some 90-degree turns out of this thing in recent times, and it's exciting to be a part of it. And I think back to your point about making sure you do the right thing. I would never have survived this industry for 30 years if I burned any bridges. And I think one of the things about this industry is you burn one bridge, you burned them all. And so it's a lot of fun, and it really forces you to be your best if you want to enjoy the best.
Mike, so well said. This is, look at the amount of engagement we're having is unreal. Deb, hi, Deb. It was an honor and a privilege to work with Mike. I miss him. How cool is that?
You guys are too kind, man. So many great people. What did I just say about the relationships, right? Deb and I worked together at TriMark for a couple of years, totally different departments or whatever, but just the people that you meet, the relationships, the realness.
You mentioned that, not burning bridges, but when you're out to serve others, we've talked a lot about service, you and I off record or just outside when we were talking outside of this. And when you're willing to serve and you're willing to give and you're willing to care, and help other people build their bridges in their careers and in their lives, it's more than just work. Food service can be so much more than just a job we hold. It can be some of your best friends over time. It can be the people that you call in times of need, because we build these relationships. There are so many questions. Everybody, if I don't get to all of them, I apologize. So many. Here's a great one that I'm going to put in. Alyssa, great question, because I know Mike's a reader and it was on my question list. What book are you reading right now? Or maybe it's or Mike, do you have an all-time top recommendation of books that have impacted you?
So I am an insatiable reader. I love to read, and I primarily read leadership books. I think it goes back to the point of leadership is an art and a science, and it's learning. You're always learning. If you're going to be better, you've got to be learning. And I think if you stop learning, you're dying. I am currently reading a book that was recommended to me by David Aguilar, just a super guy I worked with for a number of years at Hobart. He recommended a book called Know What You're For. And it's really, what do you stand for? What is your purpose? And that's what I'm reading right now. And that was based on a recommendation of his. I actually have a stack of books that are on deck. And as soon as I finish one, I grab another one. And it's interesting, though. I oftentimes find myself reshuffling what goes to the top, what bubbles up to the top, because somebody will say, hey, have you read this or that? And I'm like, so I push it up. And Roger Smeltzer has given me more recommendations. I think he reads more books than I don't know how the publishing companies keep up with him, because he is the most insatiable reader I know. I would say the best books that I recommend, there's three in particular, but the one I'll start with number 3 is The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. It's absolutely just a fantastic, timeless book that I think everybody in a position of leadership should read. I think Simon Sinek, everything Simon Sinek does is outstanding. Pick one, I don't care. But my all-time favorite book is because it's a resource. It's a go-to, and it's The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader by John Maxwell. And he's got the 21 blanks of everything, but that is my favorite. It came out, I think, around 1999 or 2000, and I read it right after it came out. And I wasn't a big reader back then, but I was new into management, and I thought, I better learn to hone my craft, right? A barber better sharpen his scissors, or he's not going to be a good barber very long. And I thought I better learn some more about this leadership stuff, because at the time leadership was a buzzword. I don't even think we knew what it was. It was managers, right? You were a manager, and I started to read, and I started to look around at managers that I worked for or with, and I thought, well, that's a manager, but that one's a leader. And what does that leader mean? A leader is somebody who takes you on a journey. A leader is somebody who gets you to do things you don't want to do on your own. A manager checks boxes. I didn't want to be a box checker. I want people to come on a journey with me. I want to come alongside them. I'm a servant leader. I want to lead, and I want to make sure that my team knows that they're not here to serve me. I'm here to serve them. 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader is essentially 21 little vignettes that I highly, highly recommend everybody read. Yes, chess, not checkers. Michael, you are on it, buddy. I agree completely. Absolutely outstanding book. And that has a workbook that you can go along with it. A great book for people, for teams to do. The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, 4 or 5 pages per quality. So it's a thing. You can read it and put it down. In fact, I don't recommend reading it cover to cover. I recommend reading a chapter and reflect on it for a week or two, and think about your actions and think about the interactions, and then go story by story by story. And John Maxwell in that book does an amazing job talking about the different things. He talks about, character and integrity and all the different things. And he tells the story of Bill Lear from Learjet. And it is just one of the most impactful stories that I think everybody needs to read. I've actually given out, I haven't counted, but I've probably purchased more than 100 copies of that to give away to people, either people who I see have potential in leadership, people who are in a position of leadership, either getting in or are in. And I still pull it off the shelf every now and again and refer to it, because it's just timeless. So I missed the lunches too, Rodney. You're a good man.
This is awesome. Someone was saying, taking voracious notes, loving this. Oh, here we go. Great question from Jamie. Hi, Jamie. How do you encourage, great question. How do you encourage creative thinking within your company? And by the way, loving this leadership masterclass. Me too. I'm with you, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, thank you. What a tremendous compliment. I don't deserve that, but I appreciate it. I will tell you, I don't have to encourage creative thinking here at Excell and Nissco. I hit the jackpot. I have the most incredible team of people I have ever worked with. And I have worked with some amazing, amazing, amazing people, but I've never seen an entire group of employees, not one excluded. I have never seen an entire group of employees who are just complete sellouts. To the point, to Randy's credit, to the point, because many of the people that are here, Randy brought on board, and that man knows how to find talent. And the people that are here, I don't have to encourage and inspire them. They're encouraging and inspiring me. I tell people on our team all the time, they're like, hey, this is, this or that. And I'm like, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys. This team is trying so hard. We've got so many exciting things that we're doing. They can't, the team, they can't do all the things they want to do. And it's so amazing to be in a position like this, because normally as the leader, you're like, hey, can we this? Or have we thought about that? Or when you finish that, can we talk about this? And the opposite is true here. I've got people coming to me with 10, 20 things, multiple departments, multiple people saying, hey, glad you're here. When are we going to do X, Y, and Z? Because we've been talking about it for a month. We've been talking about it for a year. We've been talking about it for years. And you seem like the kind of guy who's interested in helping us be the best we can be. And the answer is yes, I am. But there's only 24 hours in a day. And don't forget, I sleep for 8 of them.
You do. Wakes up at 5:05. 5:05, friends. You know what? I think that speaks so, you're right. Well done, Randy and team. When you've got a team, I think that is an ultimate example or definition of health in an organization. When people feel free to come up with ideas and they're excited to. I mean, I oftentimes know I'm most alive, or that I'm firing all cylinders, or the energy's pumping, when my brain is just coming up with, maybe we could try this. And what if we did that? And when you've got a team around you bubbling with those ideas that they're thinking of it in the middle of the night or in the lunch break or just throughout the day, and they feel free to all bring them in. And not everything makes it, because there's only so much time in the day. But, when you're chomping on those together, I mean, what an example of health and creativity. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jamie's echoing it. You've got that right. Your team is top notch in every way. That is awesome. Samantha, we love you. Mike, go EMPG. What's EMPG? Should I know that?
Excel Marketing and Procurement Group. So that's our umbrella company.
Got it. Love it. This is so fun. There's so many great questions. Janie, Raji Bridgers, that's a great read. Way to go, Rodney. Okay. You've talked about purpose. You mentioned purpose earlier. What was it called? Know what you're for. There's a why in us that cultivates excitement and energy. When we know our why we're doing it. What would you say? What drives your why in terms of, you mentioned leadership. It's a blessing and it's a burden, knowing that decisions you make and the energy you put to it and how you lead affects people's lives. So what's your why to step into that role and give it your all, Mike?
Well, I think you just said it, right? It's really a matter of, I have an awesome responsibility in this role to make a difference, to make sure that people are safe. I've always said, and anybody who knows me has heard me say this, anybody can make money. Anybody can make money. It's more important to make a difference. And if you're just doing the right things and you're leading people and you're leading with integrity and you're taking them on a journey, you get followers. And if a leader has no followers, he's only taking a walk. And so it's important. My why is that making a difference. You have to make a difference, because otherwise, what's purpose, right? I can make money, I can spend it, but you can't take it with you when you die. Yeah. But the lives that you impact, the professional and personal impact that leaders have to change lives. I have been challenged so much by so many good people, and I've tried to pay it forward. I've tried to pass that along, and I push people. And there's people who love working with me and for me. There are people who hate working with me and for me. And it doesn't make them bad people. You have to want to be pushed. I like to be pushed to a point, and I try to behave the same way when I'm pushing people.
Gosh, that's a great way of saying that. You're right. Not everyone loves high standards. Not everyone loves high expectation. People that do thrive and they last and they contribute. Those are the people that come to you with 10 ideas because they're loving it. That's a great way of saying that. I don't know who this is, but it's a great question because it leads into one of the questions I had too. You know, we always talk about challenges in life. Mike, what lesson have you learned from things that have not gone as planned? How do you pick yourself and your team up from the mat? You know, we learn who we are in moments of challenge. We only learn our strength and what we're made of when we have to exert it. Anything in your life, Mike, a challenge that you overcame, something that didn't go as planned?
Oh boy. How long is this show? Are you kidding me? I mean, every single day is a challenge, right? I mean, I would say that, that was kind of a two-part question. I have countless number of challenges. I would say that, it's just first and foremost, it's a matter of I'm optimistic to a fault. And that's part of being able to pick myself up from the mat. It's having a few key people in your life, a few key relationships that are safe, that you can go to, because, it's cliche to say it's lonely at the top, but it's true to say it's lonely at the top, because I've seen it over and over with myself and others. People will try to take advantage of you, sadly. But it's really important to have key mentors and confidants and people that you have on your life journey. So, a lot of people have therapists and professional coaches. I have all those things. You have got to have places to run. I'm very strong in my faith, and so I'm never alone. I always have guardrails, and I'm always safe, and I always have someone to talk to. But the fact is, you've got to believe in yourself first and foremost, and believe in yourself more than anybody else does. And here's a way I would explain that. And this is going to be rather silly, but I hope it makes sense. If I'm a flight attendant and I've got 250 people on my airplane, right, which is I'm a CEO and I've got employees on my bus, my airplane, and I fly a lot, right? I've got millions of miles in the air. So I look at when the plane is bumping all over the sky, I look at that flight attendant. And if he or she is cool, I'm cool. If he or she is freaking out, I'm freaking out. So it's my job, it's my responsibility, it's my obligation as a leader to make sure that the folks on my plane, the folks on my bus know that it's okay. It's just turbulence, speed bumps in the air. It's just a little turbulence, and we're going to be okay. We're going to find a way. I will tell you that I am also very collaborative, and I'm also willing to be vulnerable. And I am not afraid to tell anybody on my team, anybody on the board, anybody in my personal or professional life, if I don't know something, or if I'm scared, or if I need help, or if I need ideas, I will go there. And in fact, it's typically a default for me to go there. Even if I think I have all the answers, even if I think I know what best path to trudge down, I'll still go look to somebody I trust and go, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Does this make sense to you? And I'll tell you, not 99% of the time, I'm so grateful that I did that, because not only do I get either validation or I get constructive criticism that ends up a net better result. So don't be afraid to ask questions. I'll reach out to anybody and ask questions. And I know a lot of people won't. You're missing a tremendous opportunity, especially ask the right people, right? If I want diet advice, I'm not going to go ask my fat uncle. If I want financial advice, I'm not going to go ask my broke neighbor. Right. So when you want advice, go to reliable resources. Go to those. Don't be afraid to go to those. There's so many great groups out there, and there's so many people in our industry, so many people on this video. I don't know who the names are, but I know so many people in my contacts that are just incredible resources who love to help. You just have to ask.
I think about it all the time. First of all, I love the willingness to be authentic. I think leaders who feel a need to pretend they know everything, no one no one likes to follow people like that.
Yep.
Because it's not authentic. There has to be a level of authenticity in the people we're following. Not that if they're panicking inside, we don't necessarily need to see that. You can talk with your people, Mike. You know what I mean? A leader can talk with their people before they present to everybody, but you don't always have to say, I know everything. It's just fake. It's inauthentic, and no one follows that. And you're right.
Nobody knows everything, Jason, right? That's a key. And anybody who says they do, everybody who's listening to them is seeing right through it. So you're only hurting yourself in that process, because there is not a single one of us who has all the answers. Not one, no matter the topic.
100%, you're right. And the other thing I'd say is, as it relates to reaching out to people who can support you in areas, there has never been a moment in time that I've reached out to someone that I needed advice from, that I needed to maybe play the role of mentor, or I needed to learn something from, who has ever said no. Everyone loves, not only do they love helping, there's a level of, oh, you believe in me that I might know something? Yeah. It feels good to be reached out to as someone who might be able to contribute. And so to anyone watching, absolutely reach out. We talk about leveling up all the time. I'm always making a list in my life of people I want to know better, because they're up here and I'm here in whatever area that is, whether it's health or whatever world I want to grow in and develop in. Mike, it might be Mike for reading. Obviously Mike's going to be one of those people, when I need another book to read, I'm going to be like, hey, Mike, give me 5 books. I've already got 4, I think, that you gave me tonight. So absolutely reach out. Here's another great question. Iron sharpens iron. What are some ways that you set expectations and goals for people in your organization? Maybe that's a manner, or it's a beginning of the year. Here's where we're going this year. It's a great question.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Iron sharpens iron, without a doubt. Goal setting and expectations. I learned so much at ITW. SMART was one of the things that they used, and I know others use it throughout every industry. But it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And you have to establish SMART goals. And I think the key with any goal setting is the why, not just the what, right? So again, here's this why and what thing. So I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, why? Because I'll live longer and I'll be healthier and I won't put so much burden on my heart. But the next question then is how. And so to the point of goal setting, it's, hey, we want to grow the business by X, or we want to make sure our customer satisfaction improves from X to Y. Those are goals, but how? How? So if I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I can't just say I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I have to say I'm going to establish these disciplines. I'm going to exercise this way. I'm going to diet that way. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. And then you have to have the discipline to stick to it. So similarly in goal setting, do the SMART thing, establish the how and the why, and then you'll handle your what.
Mike, really well said, to know how and that why. That why matters so important. Why you want to make the change you do. Oftentimes, if you can connect your why, by the way, to a powerful emotion, if you can feel that why, for some people, they want to get healthier, which health has been a theme tonight, because they want to be able to play with their grandkids in 20 years, because they want, all of these things. And if you can tie it to an emotion that moves you, oftentimes that drives us and helps us push through those moments of discomfort, when we don't want to wake up at 5:05 to jump on the bike in the basement or whatever it is.
That's gonna stick, isn't it?
It is. 5:05. I love that number. I just love it.
Yeah.
Mike, another question. Tell me, you're, when did you join Excell and Nissco? Was it this fall, this summer?
August 29th of this year. Yes, sir. 2022. Yeah.
This is about to be you've just entered, you're on day 3 of your first full year, your first full calendar year.
Yep.
Tell me what excites you. What are you all doing at Excell and Nissco that fires you up, man? Because you are full of energy.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm trying to keep up with this team because I have the most amazing team. I've said it, I'll say it again. I think what I love about our group is, we have the 2 different brands, Excell and Nissco, and we go to market that way very, very deliberately, very, very specifically, and very for a reason. And we've talked about merging the brands and whatever, and there's just a lot of discussion around that. But, whatever we call ourselves, the fact is our buying group, I feel as though we are different, and we've got some fantastic competition out there. And you know what? Having fantastic competition is great. It's good. It's what forces us to work harder, to be better. Without competition, good enough is good enough. And that's never good enough. And I've never subscribed to that. We meet people where they are. I love the fact that our group will, I mean, we've got dealers in our group that are $1 million or less. We've got $10 million dealers. We've got vendors that are very small, and we've got vendors that we do over $50 million a year in volume with. We meet people where they are, and I'm very, very proud of that. We do sometimes take some shots from others that, you're the small guys. No, we're not. We're the meet you where you are guys. We're the people that help keep America running. We're the people that I feel the dealers that are the lifeblood of America, that are working hard. Many of them are lifestyle businesses. Some of them are smaller, medium, bigger. But the fact is, some of the dealers that we have today that are doing many millions of dollars started out with us doing $250,000 a year, and it was one guy in his garage doing CAD or Revit, and now he's got 20 employees and he's doing $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million. And so we help people grow. And no disrespect to online purchases, but look, I'm a consumer too, and I've bought stuff online. I just got a coffee table delivered. You know why? Because I wanted to save $100 versus buying it from the local furniture store. It was a mistake. I should have bought it from the local furniture. Why? It had to be put together. It didn't fit in the door. It was scratched, on and on and on. And then I try to call somebody and they're like, yeah, whatever. We charged your credit card. You got your table. Put a coffee mug over the scratch and suck it up. I'm not throwing stones at online purchases. What I am saying though is it is a very different experience to buy something online versus it is to buy it from somebody who can deliver it, install it, and service it. And I don't want to be the biggest. When I took this job, I was so excited to say I want to be the biggest buying group. And about a month ago, I had the revelation: I don't want to be the biggest. I don't ever want to be the biggest. I want to be the best. And I think about the airline industry, for example, United, American, Delta, they're the biggest. But would people also say they're the best? Prior to a few weeks ago, I would have said I want to be like Southwest because I think they have the most raving fans in the airline industry, but they've had some challenges lately. So I'm not sure I want to say I want to be Southwest. So forget the identity of the airlines. The point is I want to be the best, not the biggest. We're investing so heavily in our business development. I mean, to the point promoting Devin and bringing on Mariko, and we've got Guile with 20 years on our team and 30 years in the industry. He had his own dealership. He knows where people are coming from. And then Calvin Johnston. Calvin's first day is today. I've worked with Calvin for 17 years. He came on board today. Calvin has just been such a gentleman. He's such a man of character, and I'm so excited for our dealers to meet him. I'm so excited for new dealers to join because of him and our team. I'm excited for the dynamic between our vendor negotiation business side of the business and our dealer membership side of the business, and our events and our marketing. Our cutting edge platform is so outrageously amazing. Shameless plug, I'm sorry, but we've got an online portal for education that I believe is second to none. We've got thousands of hours of content. We do videos, we do dealers. We've got material on there that is recognized by NAFM for CFSP credits and CEUs. We're spending a ton of time and money and investing in that. And I'm super excited. I'm super encouraged. I can go on and on, but I don't even remember what we were talking about. I'm just excited. Calvin. So Taz knows Calvin. I mean, Calvin is such a great guy, and he's such a great person to have on this team. And Calvin's going to learn very quickly, just like I did. We're bringing value to the team, but we're bringing it along with people that are just as passionate and excited and driven as we are. And so that additional horsepower that this team has, I'm blown away for what the future holds. We're already seeing a paradigm shift. This business that we're in, like I said, we're matchmakers, right? We bring in vendor partners and we match them up with our dealer, and we do the best we can. But normally what that means is we are out asking vendors, will you come join our group? We've got dealers asking for you. And we do plenty of that. But we've got vendors now calling us and saying, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing over there, but can we talk? We think maybe we should talk about becoming a vendor in your group. And to me, that is one of the most encouraging signs for me, for this team, for me to know that we must be doing the right stuff.
Love it, Mike. Your energy is contagious. It's hard not to get excited listening to you talk. And you said it earlier, leaders take people on journeys. And it's a really fun journey that it seems like you've got people on, and people who want to be a part of this. Calvin, welcome to your first day. Thank you, MJ. It's fantastic to work with. Great mentor. Mike, listen, when you and I talked ahead of time, you said something, and I've been mildly anxious today because you said, look, I don't want to make it about me. Love the paradigm shift. Excited to see what the biz dev team cooks up 2023. Love it. You said, I don't want it to make it about me. It's about the other people. Well, for a minute, we're making it about you. So don't hate me for this. This is my favorite part of our show, because too often we don't get to hear the difference we make in people's lives. And Mike, you made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. So I'm going to read you a couple of just comments from some of your industry friends. Got to thank one of our mutual friends, someone that works for you, for helping me get some of these people together. Randy Brunschwig, former CEO at Excell and Nissco. A quick note of gratitude, Mike, for all your hard work and dedications to our members and our team. The positive remarks about your leadership continue to flow in from so many of our dealers and vendors. We're fortunate to have Mike at the helm. There's no better team to take Excell and Nissco into 2023. Love it. Andrew Meyer, CFO. Although we've only worked together for a few months, Mike continues to impress me with his robust industry knowledge. His leadership skills and mentorship will serve our members long into the future. I am so proud to be on his team. Calvin Johnson. Calvin, on day one, Mike is a man of integrity, well-respected and trustworthy, someone that people choose to follow, not because they must, but because they want to. Justin Lacrosse, of VP of Service Operations at Trimark South. Mike is extremely passionate and he's driven. He cares deeply about others and their success. He's the person you want on your side when things are tough. He'll always lend an empathetic ear to give advice from all perspectives, and he'll help you succeed, all while checking in just to see how things are going for you. He's the best leader I've had the privilege to work with. Never for, always with. Just a couple more as I see you shake it over there. Here's some fun ones. If I don't make it through this, you'll understand why. Your wife, Jessica. Mike, you're the kind of leader that people want to follow, including us, your family. Thank you for being a man of courage, for rising and accepting the call to guide. I don't ever have to ask who will provide and protect, because by the grace of God, you always do. We love you. In work and business, you are tough as nails. I encourage you in this moment to slow down, take deep breaths, and enjoy. Success is a peace of mind. You lead with love. Your mom sent some encouraging words. I'm so proud of you, Mike. You've exhibited admirable and genuine motivation in your work ethic, starting with your very first job at 15 years old. It doesn't surprise me that you become so successful. You're a man of integrity, and I love you. Lastly, your brother, Bobby. Mike, thank you for always displaying servant leadership to me. I've always been in awe of how you've led with integrity and by example. You've always been the leader who never saw anything beneath him. You're committed and willing to do any job that you'd expect one of your employees to do, and you do it with excellence. Thank you for always being by my side, to encourage me, and to always work harder than what others would expect. I love you, and I treasure you as my older brother. Whew!
Everything was going so well on the date, Chuck, and then this happened. I don't even know what to say. I don't like the spotlight. That's the interesting thing. I thank you guys, everybody. That those were some of the most incredibly amazing and yet uncomfortable comments. I don't like the spotlight. I'm believe it or not, I'm more of an introvert than you would ever imagine, and I overcompensate sometimes by being an extrovert because of the roles I've had, because I am put into positions where I need to be there, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I just wow. And I'll say one more thing. I wanted to give a shout out to my wife and kids. My kids, I love my kids, and they continue to make me proud every day and make me a better person. They challenge me, and again, I like to be challenged. But my wife, who loves me unconditionally, and if you knew me, I'm not always very lovable. I can be difficult, but she always loves me, and she always perseveres, and she's always there for me, and I don't deserve that.
I love what you're building together. Alyssa says, I love this. Just love, love, love. So inspired. Thanks to Alyssa for helping make tonight really special for so many people. Alyssa was a huge part of the backbone, essentially, of this conversation happening. It's great to know you better, says Luke. Samantha, wow is right. Listen, Food Service Power Plant Network. Holy smokes. If your year if we didn't just light a fire under the beginning of your year, I don't know what does. I have so many thoughts to leave with. I hope you're reading. You know, you never get bored when you like to learn. Mike talked about that tonight. I hope that you can that we can all foster greater curiosity in our journeys. Curiosity, I think, is what drives a love of learning, wanting to know more, recognizing that I don't know it all. In fact, I don't even know a little bit. And I'm always wanting to learn from our peers, from our friends, from books, whatever it is. One of my leaders or quotes of the night: if a leader has no follows, they're only going on a walk. They're only taking a walk. So I would ask, if you're a leader in our industry, and so many of you are that watch and participate in these conversations, is your team following? Do they like following? Is your team coming in with ideas because they're curious to see how they can grow? And they trust you that when they give ideas that you'll honor them. It doesn't mean you always love them. It doesn't mean you're always going to run with them, but they're going to honor you and your creative passions in trying to find ways to grow your business. So many wonderful insights. Thank you for joining us. Listen, let's make 2023 a wonderful year, and let's start by just making it a wonderful week. And I hope you just make it a wonderful night, inspired by this conversation. Listen, Mike, thank you so much for joining us, for being authentic, real, for all you're doing. We're excited to see you and your team continue to grow this year.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me. And again, thank you for what you're doing for our industry. It's really needed, and it's much appreciated.
We'll keep doing it together, my friend. It's when we all rise up and choose to care for one another and be real in our journeys. Alyssa, we're going to end with this. We are stronger together. There is no doubt. And we'll continue to do it together as an industry, my friends. I'm going to make a quick plug because I decided this earlier. If you're going to NAFM, so many of us are going to be at NAFM in Orlando in 2 weeks, I think it is. We're going to have Deirdre and Rich on to talk about the NAFM show to pump us up. I think the plan is Tuesday night, 8:30 at the Hilton Bar. We're going to try to plan a little FSPN get together. Come share a drink, share some hugs, and we'll all get fired up as we head into the NAFM show together. Ed, this is awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon.